Hi friends, this is Dr. Gaurav Gupta. I am a child specialist doctor practicing in Chandigarh, North India. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Today, I am going to try and prove this age-old saying wrong. I am going to be talking about what new skills I have learned as a person while waiting at home during the current coronavirus lockdown. As a child specialist doctor in private practice, due to the government of India imposed sanctions, we have been in lockdown for a very long time. Truth be told, even now I am only partially opened my clinic and doing my practice. I have learned a few new life skills which I hope will stay with me for the rest of my life. I am going to start by talking about what I learned to cook. A round roti. What is a roti? Wikipedia defines a roti as a round flat bread native to the Indian subcontinent, which is made out of wholemeal flour, which is called atta, and you knead this with the water to make a dough, and this roti is then cooked on a tawa. Now when I started making roti, it used to look like the map of India. Subsequently, it became the map of, I think, Sri Lanka, and now it looks completely round like the planet Earth. I also learned how to cook scrambled egg. Now you might say that doesn't sound like much, but the way I cook my scrambled egg is in Mumbai masala bhurji style. Now this means that the scrambled egg has got lots of spices, lots of masalas, and it is cooked in a very special way. You should come over and try it sometime. I also learned how to cut and chop vegetables. Again, I used to do this before, but I used to hold a knife like somebody holding a sword, and that wasn't very pretty. And neither was the end result. Now I can cut the beans, the carrots, the cabbage, the cauliflowers all in a proper way. This won't compete with a Michelin-starred chef, but it's still pretty good. Finally, as far as cooking is concerned, I learned how to identify different lentils. In India, we have our black lentils, the green lentils, the red lentils, and the yellow lentils. And of course, there are many sub-varieties too. I also learned to identify the spices. We have an entire box full of spices that we use in every meal. And now I can at least identify 75% of those. Moving on from cooking, we used to have a household maid who was helping us with the cleaning and helping us with making the meals in our house. But now, because of the lockdown, all of this was gone. So for the first time, we were actually doing the entire household chores ourselves. I learned to use the broom and the mop the right way. In case you are curious, the right way to use a broom is that you go forward using a broom, and the right way to mop the floor is that you come backwards. So that is a very important tip for somebody who's planning to clean the house. The other thing which I did was cut my hair. You should not try this at home without some professional help. But if you have to cut your hair, I realized very quickly that the cutting was not a problem, but to take care of all the hair that had fallen onto the floor was a much bigger issue. And always remember, make sure that the hair is wet, because that will ensure that all of it doesn't go according to your house, unlike in my situation, where the entire house was covered with hair for a couple of days. I learned the difference between my vegetable garden having coriander and spinach, and I also learned that the succulents and cacti need to be watered much less as compared to the flowering pots. One of the most important things that I learned during this time when I was staying in the house was exercising daily. I developed a routine. I had a trainer who was doing online calls and we were doing video chats. First time I started doing weights, I started eating healthily at home, and all of this really helped me get into a discipline as far as my lifestyle was concerned, and it kept my mood much better than what it would have been ordinarily, given that we were not doing any kind of professional work. Now I come to the part which I hope will really stay with me for a very long time, and that is about simple living. It sounds like a cliche, but minimalistic living is something that we learned during the lockdown. To be honest, I didn't realize how much money we were actually just spending without any rhyme or reason, just shopping, going to malls, eating out, etc. When staying at home, we realized that our budget was actually not even 1/4 of what we were spending before the lockdown, and for no apparent reason. I honestly felt that I was sleeping better, I was eating better, I was feeling healthier and happier. So you really don't need a lot of money to keep you satisfied. We spent a lot more time living in the moment. Sure, the number of fights did increase with the spouse initially, but all of it quickly settled down. We were able to discuss more, stop and talk more, instead of rushing to our professional commitments all the time. And interestingly, I was able to spend much more time with the 10-year-old daughter too. We cycle daily. We have been playing games like Ludo, Snakes and Ladder, Life, after really such a long time. The communication with the child has also improved a lot. Just running around less, relaxing more, helps in reducing the stress levels too. You generally appreciate the small things in life much more. Again, sounds a bit cliched, but honestly, if you start relaxing, everything becomes much more gentle and happier. The important thing which I found here was that I was able to connect with my college friends for the first time in years. All of us are busy doctors in practice, but for the first time we were laughing, reminiscing while on video calls with literally 6 or 8 of our friends. They seemed to be much happier. I was able to figure out what they were doing in their personal lives, and they were able to chat and find out what I was doing in my life too. I was able to go back to something which I really enjoyed. I have always wanted to do a podcast. And finally, I was able to start my personal podcast, which is called Your Personal Child Specialist, for parents to talk about their children's common problems. My YouTube channel, which has been there for some time but was lagging behind, has again become active because I'm able to connect with other people, connect with other doctors, and share what I'm passionate about. And of course, this course I would never have planned without actually having a lockdown too. So finally, no household maid means lots of household chores, at least to us in India. But the lack of professional work also means that there is a lot more time to share with others and to contemplate, to think about things which you would not ordinarily think about. It has been a learning curve. Tough, but enjoyable. Almost like this public speaking course. I would recommend that everyone uses this lockdown period to enjoy the small things in life. After all, God is in the details, right? And I hope I have been able to convince you that you can teach an old dog new tricks. This is Dr. Gaurav Gupta. Take care.